Welcome back to some professional StarCraft 2 from the playoffs of Dreamhack Valencia 2022. A best of 3 between 2 of the best German players and players in general. I'm excited to show off both of them head to head, and it's going to take a lot of time to introduce them because of the magnitude of this player. In the top right, the German Terran goes by HeroMarine, but better known to the universe as Big Gabe. On his team for 12 years now. He has been on Mouse Sports as a professional StarCraft 2 player more than half of Max Pax's life. And continues to perform and only gets better with time. A real competitor, and he knocked out Serral. Can I get a like and a subscribe for my subtle segue into the positivity of knocking out Serral, so that way we don't have a ZVZ finals in every tournament? I'm just... Speaking of Zerg, on the other side, the cerebral Zerg player, kind of a coach to some extent, to many of the other European Zergs. Yes, there's a Reaper in his base, but that's not going to stop me from introducing Lambo.
Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini here.
Is he actually gonna lose a drone? The Reaper? It got a ling. Wow, game changer. These two are two of the smartest players. I know I say that about a lot of players, but Big Gabe and Lambo are both known for essentially outthinking their opponents or not panicking, I guess is another one. A lot of players, something will go wrong and they'll kind of just continue rolling with it, going sideways. Yes, Zest is a good example of that, but that's one of the last things you want to do, especially as Terran, but also as Zerg. I mean, at the end of the day, much of the early game is, does your opponent exist and is not AFK? Build queens. Of course, there's some more nuance than that. We're on Tropical Sacrifice, which many people... many people think is a more macro-based map, but we've actually seen some quite short games. I think the relative openness of the platform down the ramp. You know what? I'm not going to speculate. I've only seen like 4 games, so... Triple CC from HeroMarine. Going to be finishing at 4 minutes. Disgustingly fast. But that kind of seems to be the standard now, so I guess it's just standard. Disgustingly standard. And Fusion Core Battlecruisers in game 1. Breaking that, well, I mean, I guess it could be advanced ballistics. It's not advanced ballistics. This is Big Gabe's big boy cruisers. Big battle cruisers. The BBCs here for HeroMarine. And Lambo actually looks like he's going to try to punish this 3cc. He's got a Roach Horn on the way. He has a lot of gas. This is looking like a high economy Ravager timing because he doesn't have a lair and he has all the gas and roaches in production. The problem is, you know what counters roaches pretty well? Battlecruiser. I guess it will be a little awkward here though, as battlecruisers, while they do a lot of damage over time, the armor of the roaches and the fact that this is a very high economy play from Lambo here. Oh, the Reaper bounce means no, well, if there were any more queens, it's going to be a little suspicious, I think, that there were only 2 queens and now they're dead. HeroMarine isn't suspicious at all. Wow, this is so disgustingly greedy right now. This is like putting multiple ad breaks in the middle of this singular game greedy. HeroMarine. He's going Battlecruiser to double entry bay. That's how confident he is that he's not going to get attacked. And that is about the worst case scenario for someone who still will have a Battlecruiser here. So Lambo should be able to get some damage done. He's up against a 3cc Terran, so is going to need to. Now, he doesn't know about the cruiser. It pops out. More barracks on the way. This will put a timer on the attack. Of course, it can jump across the map. 2 queens dying on the other side definitely isn't going to make things easier when it comes to defending at home. Ravagers trying to break through. Repair is optimistic at best. More SCVs pulled just to try to hold the line for now. Any sort of choke point, target fire on the Ravagers. More corrosive bile. Hitting, like, 24 SCVs have died. The question at the end of the day will be, is it enough? Eventually the battlecruiser will deal with this, but is it before HeroMarine runs entirely out of SCVs? Battlecruiser at 20 kills. 21. And counting. 19 SCVs left. More drones. Lambo is macroing like a fiend behind this. The battlecruisers are going to be incredibly dangerous. But I think that's enough damage. So a mule is worth about 5 SCVs mining. And of course, doesn't cost any minerals, any of that. So it can make up for a lot of the gap. But that is more than a 15 or even 20 SCV gap. That is a 40 worker gap right now. But 2 battlecruisers jumping in, and those queens dying earlier means that there's nothing but spore crawlers to really contest. Honestly, you could probably target the spores and try to annex the base here. Zerglings heading across. There was the double engineering bay, but it's not like HeroMarine. He's building another battlecruiser. 3 is usually that money number for making queens essentially irrelevant. More spores are being built. Lambo replacing drones as quick as they're lost. SCV is still vulnerable. There's not quite enough army here, but the SCVs can start to body block. The battlecruiser is still going to work. 27 kills, 8 kills. Big Gabe doing what he can here, but he knows he really needs to bounce back. Wow. Tripling down. Yamato Cannon, the Fusion Core, is upgrading. Technically, the upgrade's called Weapon Refit, but there's only one weapon you can refit. And it's just adding... Oh my god, he's pulling the SCVs to repair the cruisers. He's gonna go with the SCV repair push with Battle Cru... I can't remember the last time I've seen this outside of the Platinum League, which is usually when battle cruisers cap out. At least pushes like this. Spire and Baneling Nest are on the way, but they're not here yet. The SCV's out in front, drawing any fire from the queens. Yamato Cannon isn't done, but time is of the essence. This is a third of HeroMarine's potential economy. More spore crawlers being targeted. The boys are going home, which is an interesting choice. I guess he thinks that repairing is just a waste of the SCVs. Rarely do you pull the SCVs to the front and then send them home, which is a lot of mixed messages for a very stressful time for those SCVs. At least let me die in peace for a good cause. No, back to work. Back to work. Those SCVs are gonna have a tough time reintegrating with SCV society, but at least something they know is heading towards the natural. A bunch of roaches. Zerglings following it up. Lambo with round 2. 16 drones going down. The cruisers. Yamato volley. Firing on the queens. A lot of damage done, and by a lot of damage I mean insta-killing the queens. Even more going down. The battle got 36 kills, 21 kills, 10 kills, but Corruptor's on the field. He jumps, and he gets away. What a save! HeroMarine saves the day. Honestly, I'm rooting for the battle cruisers here. I can't help it, but overall, Lambo still maintains a solid drone count. He's replaced every drone lost and then some. It hasn't been an easy or comfortable road. The battle cruisers, for a moment there, looked like they had a threat of just breaking through and eliminating all the anti-air. But the Spire was not taken out. I wonder if he noticed it and decided not to kill it, or if he thought it was a spore crawler. But at the end of the day, Lambo will stabilize. He's got Corruptors and Roaches. HeroMarine is building 1-1 for his bio, which is something he wanted to do about 5 minutes ago, but there's been, you know, troubles. The cruiser fleet moving out. They have a lot. The corruptor count. You gotta be careful not to overdo it on the corruptors. That is the awkward part of playing Zerg at this level. Is the moment you overproduce corruptors, suddenly that's when 40 supply of Marines just stem in. Yamato's and the fadeaway jump takes a few corruptors with him. He's gonna need half a dozen more of those attacks. Lambo's actually, he's sitting on 10 corruptors right now with that extra damage to massive. Oh my god, HeroMarine? Wait, you don't need an armory to build battlecruisers. I thought he had already built an armory. I didn't need to explain that. I could have just gone and not said anything, and then you wouldn't have realized that I wasn't paying attention. But instead, I couldn't even think that far ahead. And now we're sitting here, me thinking that that's his second armory, and no, it's his first. We're just kind of delaying the macro game. These guys are insane at macro, by the way. After everything that's happened, after all the literally dozens of SCV kills, the boys pulled across the map and back. Lambo is nearly maxed at just 12 minutes with a pretty mid to late game army. HeroMarine's at 150 supply and getting 2-2. So he's not quite a pushover himself. You still see some of the feeling of that early pressure and the economic struggles of HeroMarine here, as the upgrades are severely delayed, just kicking in with all the bio upgrades now. But with the army supply being within 10 or 20 here, and the upgrades actually being comparable, with some good micro and a decent position, there's a chance, but the siege tank's a little late on the siege up. The target fire on the Bane, looking good so far. The corruptors are going to knock all the medevacs out of the sky. The siege tanks are overrun. Without the medevacs, the staying power of the bio is minimal. The battlecruisers firing their Yamatos off, but they don't have a jump. They jumped home, but the corruptors are already there. If only we could have foreseen. The roaches getting in. The last siege tank knocked down. There's only roaches and ravagers here. Medevacs targeted down, but more Zerglings streaming in behind. The reinforcements are overrunning, and Big Gabe taps out in game 1. Lambo is just too strong. I love the battlecruiser play, but like 3cc before starport, into Viking, into battlecruiser, into double engineering bay. Come on. Come on. If I ever get that greedy, well, you should use my Raid Shadow Legends promotion code. Otherwise, you shouldn't let me get away with it. That is literally you will not attack me for 5 minutes, and then I'll have an amazing position and probably win the game with my ridiculous macro. But guess what? That's not what happened. Lambo called the bluff. I do like the high economy Ravager. It's not really an all-in, as we saw. And in fact, it kind of went poorly. I think alarm bells maybe should have started ringing when the queens died to Hellions. Like, that's not in script. That's not supposed to happen. The queens are supposed to drive back the Hellions. They play will they, won't they. Don't creep on me, bro. Occasionally the Hellions will think about running by because the queens are slightly out of position, but then the Zerg player has like 10 lings, and Big Gabe's never going to run by like that. But then he killed 2 queens. But that didn't set off any alarm bells for HeroMarine. At least it looked like it didn't, because he didn't add any defenses until the roaches were actually spotted 30, 40 seconds later. I don't think he's going to make that mistake again. We'll see if he has the opportunity. It's a pool first out of Lambo, but not like, and once again, not an all-in. He's kind of just mixing it up. And overall, I think Lambo is the underdog here. Big Gabe beats Serral. He beats Serral. Okay? If he plays standard, I bet Serral played, hopefully we get a hold of those games. But I bet Serral is the standard. Whatever Serral does is standard. So if he can beat that, you probably shouldn't be copying Serral. One of the very few times to say that. SCV Scout. Zerglings will grab it. but importantly saw the timing of the hatchery, which means there's likely no huge aggression behind no Zergling speed, no roaches, as you cannot get a hatch that quick without cutting a ton of drones. Reaper gets into the main. Yeah, this is just confirming. It feels like he's a little salty about that last game. Yes, I'm reading heavily into the Reaper Scout. But Big Gabe does, if you've ever watched his stream, he's not a big fan of being caught unawares. Because 9 or 99 times out of 100, he's looking for it, he's ready for it. I guess a player like a Lambo, it's more like 9 out of 10 as opposed to 99 out of 100. But he got a little greedy and he got. And this has filled him with determination to diligently scout and make sure no shenanigans are afoot. The only feat are going to be the metabolically boosted ones of the Zerglings. Is that a Widowmon? Okay. Interesting. This is a Byun style. Just marine off timing. He's got the reactor. Medevac on the way. We'll have to see. Honestly, I've never seen quite this flavor. I mean, the 111, the Destiny Cloud Fist build, as it's been referred to in the past, is a mainstay. It's been a staple since 1998 of Terran players. But the exact flavor, the special sauces and upgrades and units, that has varied over time, though Hellions in StarCraft 2 have always been the default choice. The medevac was spotted, correct? Yeah, Lambo's moving like he definitely saw it, so. Marines dropping out. Knocking down the Overlord. Widowmon at the front. Oh, he's... It looks like he's trying to bait. But decides to bring everything up. I'm not sure the Widowmon was spotted. Fun fact, or not so fun if you're not Zerg, a creep tumor actually has more vision range than the edge of the creep. So if you have touched, if you put one of your fancy-ass marine toes on the creep, they've seen you. If they were looking at either the minimap and or the screen, they know if that creep tumor is done. That, like, I forget about that a lot. And I play Zerg. I'm 1/3 Zerg myself. It's actually a little bit obscene how much vision you can get with good creep spread. And the HeroMarine thinks so as well. A Raven is the choice. He really wants to deal with it. Keep control of the creep situation. This time around, Lambo. Brenda's knitting crew ain't nothing to creep with. Well, actually it is. But that is a lot of queens. 8 queens. Well, the Widowmine. HeroMarine doing a surprisingly good job of shaving down the queens so far in this series. The correct amount that you're supposed to kill in the first few minutes of the game, like even the first 6 minutes really, is 0. The amount is 0. But HeroMarine has killed 2 queens in both these games. And of course shaved down the creep spread. This is going to be a much more mid-game oriented army. We're not going to be looking at the big battle cruisers. We're not going to be dealing with a Ravager all-in. This is Lair Tech versus 5 Rex production. Lambo is at 72 drones. He's got those 3 bases set up and then some. Lairs on the way. Baneling Nest. One moment. Baneling Nest. Sir. Yes, I know, but actually a very important point is the Baneling Nest. Every second now he doesn't build it. He doesn't have one, right? That is another second without Baneling speed when the lair finishes, which I imagine is why we're getting a lair. He's going to do this new sick no Baneling strat then. Is he? Okay, like, I said it like a joke, but we're gonna edit that back and play it off like I know what he's doing. Well, the gas has to go somewhere, so aspire. He's mass Zergling. Usually the Zerglings with the Banelings are the key point, because a critical mass of well-upgraded Marines and Medevacs just chew through the Zerglings. So, is this like a challenge for his YouTube channel or something? There's the Bane Nest. Oh no. Like, that has to be a mistake. That could be a disaster for Lambo. Yeah, he's got a metric ton of Zerglings. Probably well over that. But without Banelings, this is a critical mass of Marines. I bet HeroMarine's going to be a little surprised, like, sir, where are your Banelings? Like, this army right here, 3 or 4 Banelings? Instead, it does okay, but there's Hellions. Anti-armor missile, the Queens get Dorito-dusted, and they've been watching their weight so well, but they'll have to wait a little longer before they can fight this army. Baneling speed starts. It's actually in kind of a vulnerable location as well. If only he could chrono boost it, making Banelings immediately. Yeah, that's a mistake. Oh no. Oh, that's like... This is like forgetting combat shield for Zerg. It happens even at this level way too much. It happens like it's that 1 in 10 games. Now, once he gets Baneling speed done, he's already lost a lot of potential ground here, though. Without the Banelings, he wasn't able to hold on to that 4th base. Of course, he has the alternative 4th, but all the creep spread, not able to fight the army, no good counterattack opportunity. The Banelings are an incredibly important part in just forcing micro at the very least, if not killing Marines. Because not even HeroMarine can be looking everywhere at once, though we're going to try to follow along for a moment. Go to the HeroMarine action cam. We're in that mid-game stage, and this is where HeroMarine is one of the best. He is world-class at this. Him and Serral. Like, even arguably better than Byun in prioritizing. So, anti-armor missile. Target fire picks up as soon as the Zerglings go for the surround. Production. Octo-Rex coming together. 4th, Command Center prioritized. He's at 193 supply. He's out-Zerging the Zerg. 2-2 on the way. Dropping the 4th. Targeting another base. Left side flank. Going for the creep. Few Banelings there to deal with. Stimming in the right flank. 2-2 still on the way, so no reason to take a critical engagement until then. Don't want to risk it. Still just doing what he can to deal with the creep. Dropping on the fly there. Oh, a little bit off, though. The creep is dangerous, and Banelings with speed, of course. That's the value. Slipping a little, like Lambo on the ball here. He's recovered. Lambo needs a hive. HeroMarine doesn't know whether there's an infestation pit, whether there's a hive on the way, even try to target fire. A lot of time spent killing that drone, but he delays it. Auto turret being set. Now, if you're a Terran player, I want you to go back and look at the production here in the bottom right. That is what, not just the micro and the multitasking. It's actually the production while he's fighting, while he's microing, while he's splitting those medevacs. That is what he's insane at. Alright, great splits there. He just started his 3-3 mid-fight, which, you know, was real flashy, but he's losing this fight. He actually has a hotkey for his upgrades, and he started the 3-3, but the battle did not go incredible. Where is his army? There's a lot in, it's in medevacs and in production. Gonna be losing more and more. HeroMarine getting driven back. He lost the planetary. I said drop supply depots. Lambo strikes back. Infestation pit isn't done. Once again, HeroMarine doesn't know any of this. There could be lurkers and vipers right behind it. The mule hammer drops. Now, remember, every time a Baneling attacks, it dies. And that... Well, I was hyping up HeroMarine, and then... While he gets... You know what? Losing 15 more Marines may have looked... And I'm not saying that split second meant 15 more Marines died. I'm not confident in that at all. But That 3-3 and that 3-3 timing being so sharp is going to define the rest of this game. Like, sure, he lost a whole lot in that fight, but he held on, and when he has these 3-3 upgrades kicking in, that is still advantage Big Gabe here. Oh my god, medevacs for all policy. 11 medevacs. Well, when you only have Zerglings and Banelings, your anti-air is limited. The Bio Army stimming in towards the top left. 3-3 is closing in mighty quick. HeroMarine is getting 3-3 when he started his 1-1 last game, so it's been a very different match. Lambo has lost a lot. That Hive is done. Was it going to be Ultras? There's not a lot of time or options. He doesn't have a Hydra Den, so Lurkers are off the table. Vipers are something. He's got to make a decision. Adrenal glands are obviously an option as well. Let's go to the Lambo cam. Nope, not Lambo. That looks a little weird. More Banelings. Hasn't started any Hive tech. Right now, averaging 650 APM. But Lings and Banes require. It is not optional against these better upgrades. It is not optional to have less supply. Like, you need to have more. Otherwise, you're entirely reliant on the Terran making a mistake. It appears Lambo, unfortunately, while these battles have not been going horribly for him, he is definitely losing the war. He's not able to keep up as the Terran army is tearing through. And Big Gabe strikes back in game 2. Oh, great series, though. Lambo is going to have to go back to the spawning pool. I don't want to blame it all on Bane speed, but it certainly didn't help. You can't make little mistakes like that, like this, like Big Gabe in game 1. He didn't really realize why there were so few queens. He went for a greedy build, and Lambo used that heavily to his advantage. Game 2, Lambo doesn't have the ability to put on the pressure because he doesn't have the Bane speed or the Bane lane. And he can't really use this overwhelming production, his insane amount of larva, because at some point Zerglings just don't cut it anymore. They don't get through the armor of the Marines with the healing of the medevacs. So now we're going to Moondance, and it's all tied up. Moondance with the pocket base. You've seen it. You probably have a strong opinion on it. If not, let me give you an opinion. Pocket bases are... Okay, let me give you 2 opinions. Let me put my business hat on. All right? Jimmy, can we get the business music? Business time. So, pocket bases offer extra utility for your economy. A defensible location. What it doesn't have in minerals and gas, it does have in that safety. You can tuck your workers away and get your economy into the mid-game with really no concerns for the Zerg. No, we gotta talk about the build. Jimmy, oh, we already cut. Okay. Like and subscribe for pocket bases. Second to pocket squares. Pocket squares. Fashion. I am out of my element. Pocket squares. Opinions on... If you don't have an opinion on pocket bases, you probably have an opinion on pocket squares. Actually, there's probably a lot of overlap between people who have opinions on pocket bases and who have opinions on pocket squares. So I'm still probably excluding a lot of people who think I'm a total nerd and don't understand how they've made it this far into the video because they just woke up, they were watching some sort of like Overwatch montage, and they have no idea how they ended up here. But welcome. Like, subscribe. This is the most competitive game in the world. It's called StarCraft 2. It will make you hate yourself and your loved ones and actively disassociate with them because you have to go train like a Zen monk for years on your own, silently, or at least only typing on your keyboard, because interacting with other human beings will not help you. This is not a team game. You're the only person you can blame for your losses, or whatever people come up with in the comments. We have 3 CCs on the way for HeroMarine. I'm surprised he didn't slam it on the pocket base. Don't get me started again. I've had enough. Though, 1, it does have less mineral patches. 2, he probably doesn't want to show it to the Overlord. So, if he can take that forward base, and Terran players, this is almost always the case. And Lambo's doing it as well. You want to actually be closer to your opponent. So that way when your army is rallying, usually from your main production, it goes past your base and can potentially stop and defend if needed. If you have a base at the back, you have not essentially set up a new staging area where you can launch attacks or consolidate your defense. Overlord? That Overlord, I don't know if it feels fast. Why does that Overlord feel fast? Not that fast. Did you know Overlords are slower than floating buildings? Then again, I guess Terran buildings have rocket engines, and Zerg Overlords have a little bit too much gas. So it does make some sense. I'm starting to think this game isn't particularly realistic. Disappointing. So far. Wait, did he see the third? Yeah, he saw everything. Saw 2. Oh, it's a 3-2-1-1. 3 command centers, 2 barracks, a factory, and a starport. So it is the advanced high economy version of the build Byun popularized, and Diamond players still try to emulate poorly to this day. You get 2 medevacs and marines with stim, and there are few things less effective, especially in the hands of a top-tier Terran. There was no opportunity for Lambo to slow this down, and he knows it's coming. He starts the Bane Nest on time. Not on time to shut this down. He should be building Zerglings very soon. He's at 60 drones, which is actually pushing it a bit. Wow, a scan. Did he not see this before? Okay. He still has a Reaper a lot. Wait, does he? No, I lied. Reaper died. So he didn't see the third, but it's very important to know where the third is, because that will determine exactly where you're going to go with these medevacs. Setting up. It looks like he wants to just work on... The best Terrans focus more on the creep spread than anything else. This is all spotted. Right on the edge of the creep, where the queens can't quite hit, but has maximum effectiveness. The queens not targeting the medevacs quite yet. Just trying to deal with the marines. The harem of queens, the Queen Moot, Brunda's knitting crew coming together. Unhappy about these foreigners on their lawn. Which is the... Oh my god. Jimmy, quick. Oh, I'm sorry. I had a feeling. Oh. So, this might be why. I'm actually... Was he microing? Yeah. Lambo, he draws the Marines in. Your Marine looks away. The slow maidens wander in. What a play. 10 SCV kills. 5 maidlings is not cheap, but that hamstrings HeroMarine's economy going into the mid-game. That gives Lambo a great opportunity to consolidate. That means getting 70-ish drones, finishing 1-1, making sure your creep is pushed out around the sides, and then work on constantly threatening counterattacks. He needs... Ooh, already a medevac down. He needs HeroMarine to feel like he has to stay at home. While Lambo ideally techs up. And he's in a great position to do so. Those 10 SCVs, as well as slapping down the early medevacs without even getting his 4th delayed. He already has a 5th on the way. I wouldn't be surprised to see the back base as more of a macro hatch even. Speaking of, at the 3rd, I think macro hatches need to be used more often. Gets the depots, another SCV, these counterattacks. Surgical, about as surgical as a rolling barrel of acid can be. One is finishing now for HeroMarine though. This should trigger a little bit more ambition, at least in the short term. He's sitting back pre-spread. Gets an Overlord, doesn't want to risk the medevac. Surprised? The HeroMarine isn't moving out. Oh. Trying to take advantage of the map, but Lambo right now is just... Oh! Down they go. The Queens reach out and grab the medevac on its retreat path. 1-1 is done. Hydralisk Den. Infestation Pit. We're going down the lurker path this time around. And the best opportunity to get damage with lurkers is when the Terran is struggling to just put enough on the field to defend against the Ling Bang. Oh, well, that certainly doesn't help. HeroMarine losing multiple medevacs now. I think that's the 3rd one lost with Marines inside. Just some real uncharacteristic mistakes. And now, that is so many Zerglings and Banelings. Over 100. 40 Banes, 100 Zerglings. Here it comes. The Banelings rolling in the front. The Widowmine gets a juicy hit. Lambo. The Lamboni. Just rolling through. 166 supply with 86 drones. There's no reason to stop. The Banelings can crash through again. Widowmines. HeroMarine on the edge of being defeated by his countrymen. Oh my god, and then a Widowmine recharges. Oh my god! That... What? I'm sorry. That for my dubstep commentary, but... That Widowmine getting, what, like 15, 20 Banes? When Banes attack... I feel like I say this every time I see a Baneling. When Banes attack, they don't show up on units lost, because they accomplish their goal, which is a weird quirk of SC2. But 26 Banelings have been straight up lost before attacking. They just died, targeted down. So that singular Widowmine may have saved the game. It's still a long road, but Lambo... Oh, and then these 4 more are going to help out a lot as well. 9 kills, but only now. The Hydras are revealed. It's still a really rough scenario. I just am kind of defaulting. The HeroMarine can't just die, right? But Lambo has every advantage besides upgrades. The upgrades are a big deal, but not as big a deal as how much map control, map dominance Lambo has. Let me rephrase. Widowmines won't solve the lurker problem. In fact, lurkers chew them up from afar. There are no lurkers yet. The upgrades are on the way, but he hasn't actually gone that direction. There are 140 Zerglings. Well, that Widowmine not doing enough. With Zerglings on the left flank. Widowmine's taking chunks out. Another set. A couple mines here. SCV's on the run. They go back to the 3rd, thinking that's maybe a little bit more survivable. Banelings roll into the natural. 14 SCVs down. Not critical damage yet, but HeroMarine is scrambling right now. Where are the lurkers? No lurkers yet. The Hydras have been revealed. He knows that they're on the agenda. HeroMarine down to 110 supply. He's not dead. I keep saying that. But it's not getting easier. That was a solid hold. But he has really no counterattack potential. Each of these attacks is getting more and more dangerous. Banelings, oh no! 13 SCVs. Widowmines dragged into Overlords. The SCV count back under 50. He's building 4 at a time. He is mining from the pocket base. But Big Gabe is running out of options. And the lurkers, potentially. Lambo has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases. I don't know if the lurkers are even needed. The Zerglings just keep coming, and they don't stop coming, and they don't stop coming. And the Zerglings, and the Banelings, and the lurkers, and down goes the orbital. The tanks. The lurkers show up, HeroMarine goes out. You can't explain. Well, I can explain that. Lambo played better. Lambo had Big Gabe's number right here. And in this case, it was 2 in this series. As just a smart, like, honestly, the only mistake Lambo made was the Baneling nest and speed in game 2. Just a great series from him. Knowing his countrymen, the German Terran and the German Zerg. And also knowing how to play that mid to late game, that's usually when HeroMarine is best, is the 150-ish supply, like 8 barracks of production. But no, Lambo turned it around. And in this best of 3 at least, he gets the better of him. Hopefully you enjoyed the cast. I enjoyed. Those are some great games. Check out these videos. Maybe this one. Jimmy, put them up. One of these 2, or maybe over there. Pocket squares. Yes, no. Why are you bringing this up? Thank you for watching. I hope I made your day a little bit better. I'll see you next time. Stay chill.